Hello and happy Sunday. It's a good day. I'm feeling blessed, grateful for breath, grateful for limitless options, grateful for my connections. And on that topic of the connections, I'm going to speak on protecting what serves you, protecting the relationships that serve you, the energy that serves you, the company that serves you, and also including, you know, the products that come of that. So I've done a lot of deep thinking on what things that are in my life right now that really serve me and how I serve these things in return. I've made a really good space for myself where I really prioritize what energy I allow to be around me and how it's really affecting me, since I'm allowing myself to accept these energies and to be in these spaces. And so I've really limited the company that I allow, pretty much. And I think I have a lot of relationships with people that have been around me for so long. And in these spaces, in these relationships with these people, I think that they've seen me grow into so many different versions of myself, and I've been accepted in these spaces so freely that I'm just like feeling really blessed to have these connections with these people. And I really appreciate my community that I've had for 10 plus years. So all of my friends that I've had for so long really know me up to this point as a girl that's really sporadic and off the hinges. And I haven't really taken the opportunity to reintroduce myself. And I don't really feel like I need to. It's totally fine. I feel like this is really my business. And the relationship that I have with these people are really positive. So I don't think that it's really going to come as a surprise that I'm fucking growing. Hey, friends. I love y'all. But speaking to that, when I let these people see me pretty much for who I am, and I've grown up with these people, when you grow up and you're like a kid, none of this shit really matters. Like, I really didn't ever remember giving a fuck so much, as much as I do now. And I'm really in a process of giving less of a fuck. So it's been a really interesting and rough process, but I'm in a season of practicing serious discipline. So it's really easy, honestly. As difficult as it's been, it's really easy for me to prioritize having, positive energy and relationships in my life, because honestly, I've been giving out really pure energy in these spaces, and that's what I'm getting back. So I think, as long as I do that and maintain this purity in these spaces, that we're gonna be in good standings with everybody and myself too. So I'm happy about that. This video is really about protecting what serves you, and all the things that are meant to serve you and to sustain you really do need that protection. So far as you're treating yourself well, so far as you take care of yourself, and how you speak to yourself, what you feed yourself, how you view yourself in terms of what you deserve and how you want to live. These things really need to be fed really, really, really good food, really good brain food. I've done pretty fucking good at that so far in this season, and it's been a really recent season too, so it's all new for me as well. But I think that the practice is really starting to show some result. So happy about that. I think that I'm really happy with how I've managed to really grow out of being somebody that doesn't really care for myself in these spaces that I put myself in, because I think that as much as I love to serve other people, I think that that is a tool of validation that I've been using, instead of really just really having genuine care to provide for whatever it is I was providing for these people in these spaces. And so when I'm like really giving my all, and being a yes man for a lot of things, it really puts into perspective how little I say yes to myself. Just because the pleasure of the validation I get from serving others is really, really so great that I don't even really bother to think about how it's affecting me in the way that I expend this energy. But so far, I've managed to really spend all the energy I can afford, basically. So I know my energy spending limit on my energy credit card. So I'm staying within that limit and making sure that I have enough to fill my own cup. It's been beautiful and really strange to love myself in such a vulnerable way when you really have to get to the bottom of the very, very, very bottom of why and why and why and why and why I do all these things, why I exhibit these behaviors, and I like really dig and dig and dig. And when I can't ask myself why anymore, any deeper, I ask myself how. Like, I understand why I do these things. I've gotten to the bottom of that. Now, how am I going to make healthier choices for my behavior and to reflect how I really feel about myself, how I want to feel about myself? Yeah, loving that process. And in doing that, I think a lot of times, this is specifically to speak to relationships, when I intellectualize so many things, pretty much every damn thing. And I really have an issue separating, thought from feeling. And I think that everything in essence is so much easier when you rely on energy instead of, intellectualizing and rationalizing, because I think at the bottom of it, how you feel is what matters. And when it comes down to something, you either feel good or you feel bad, and I think that using those feelings, especially when they're instinctual, is way more reliable of a tool than using this brain that's really not in the best of standing to break down every single thing and try to figure out fucking everything, and really taking myself away from the feeling. So I really start to use logic to rationalize whether or not my behavior is appropriate, my speech is appropriate, the way I present myself is appropriate, instead of just asking myself, do I feel good doing this shit, saying this shit, wearing this shit, or do I feel bad? Do I feel good fucking with this person? Or do I feel bad? And it's really brought me to a place where I am understanding so much the reason for silent retreats, and just sitting there and feeling shit and sitting with the feelings and practicing that on my own, is difficult because of how well I've been conditioned to determine my value based on how well I'm serving something or someone else. So the energy really speaks. And so it's taken me a little bit of practice shutting the fuck up and sitting down and really like feeling where the energy is in my body and whether or not I'm resonating with the energy before I go and act upon it. So I'm really taking time to respond, and that pertains to everything, before I actually do something out of impulse, which has been a serious issue for me. I really do give things more thought, and more thought about how I feel, not about how I should respond, because that's the fucking issue right there. So less thought about what's right and what's wrong, more thought about how I feel, right? Yeah, I feel really good about how I've been handling myself when it comes to that, and I feel really good about having relationships where my shortcomings and within this growth have been embraced and have been taken with grace. It's really beautiful, and so for that I do so appreciate my community, my fucking friends. I love y'all, seriously. Like, what the fuck? I think we're all just going through this shit together, bro. And so yeah, it's a really crazy process to be undergoing. Take care of what serves you so it can serve you well, right? And not just to be greedy about it. If something is serving you and giving you the results that you want, and filling you with love, and filling you with compassion, and filling you with positivity, and filling you with optimism, and filling you with inspiration, you're gonna want to give it right back, so that wherever you're getting this energy from can be feeling fulfilled in their relationship with you. And you're gonna want to fill that cup and fill it well without being selfish, because at the end of the day, as long as you keep taking and you're draining this energy that's been serving you, it will no longer serve you. It's very simple, and it's just really greedy. It's a really nasty thing to do, you know. You're gonna have to really feed the energy really well, water it out of love. That's the thing. Like, you're really gonna have to give a fuck about taking care of what is taking care of you, right? And not just because it's going to take care of you, just because it cares. And so really understanding that the energy that you accept in some way is going to be a reflection of you should really be an eye-opener to how you're treating people and places. It's going to be a reflection of parts of you that you may not have been aware of, that really need love, that really need more tenderness. I'm really just talking about myself right now. Yikes. It's a beautiful fucking day, and I'm sitting under the tree, and y'all are sitting with me. Yeah. Well, I guess this is really fucking deep, but I'll get into it. This is one of my entries here. Accept yourself. Your body is a shell, a medium to help your soul express. Where you are is serving you. Nothing matters more than the meaning you apply. Your fear must be loved into freedom. Love her. She's scared to be seen. She's afraid of death and rejection. Where you feel the fear, touch yourself in love. Your qualities wonder many minds. Your own mind craves the applause. Your greatness awaits your own heart to beat its rhythm and to be. Love her. Let the curtains close here. There is no show in loving yourself. All right, so that's just speaking to the fact that for many, growth is a performance, right? And so you're performing to be seen as somebody that's getting better, and you really are not doing that shadow work. You're really just like putting on that costume. That's something I've managed to bypass. Luckily, I've been able to avoid doing that first. So I really just jumped right into the shadow work, which is great. It's really interesting that I even wrote that the body is a shell. I really don't feel like a body. I really feel like a brain, right? I feel like a ball of energy. And so when it comes to terms with accepting the physical, and it's really what it has to be, is an acceptance, because you can only change so much. And as healthy as I've been, as healthy as the choices that I've made have been, in terms of, you know, exercising, feeding myself well, resting well, expressing myself in all the ways that I can, creating whatever the fuck it is I want to create at the moment I want to create. These are things that my body have been a medium for me to accomplish. However, once you undergo this conditioning that you need to look and behave and speak and love a certain way, it's really difficult to transition into prioritizing yourself and what the fuck you want. Where you are is serving you. It's just what it is. Like, shit is hard for a fucking reason, and you can only control what you can control, which is yourself. Do your best to control what you can control, because what you can't control does not need to be any of your concern at that point. That's really a waste of energy that you could be putting into yourself, and that's just my opinion. Yeah. Your fear must be loved into freedom. Now that's really clocking myself, because I am a person that has fear in every single thing. And especially when it comes to things that have to do with my confidence and my creation. And so you can't shame the fear away. Unfortunately, I tried that shit. You know, when you're like, oh, I'm so fucking lazy, like I need to go work out. And I'm like, okay, bitch, get your lazy ass up and go work out. Like, these things may be a very short-term motivator, but I honestly feel like if you love yourself into motivation, it's going to be so much more effective, so much more purely effective for you to accomplish these things you want to accomplish and to fully feel confident in yourself as a person. And it's really way easier said than done. But all it takes is consistency and practice, really. And you're going to have to be disciplined and continuing to tell yourself that these are the things that you really want, and they can be accomplished so long as you put in that effort consistently, right? Yeah. And mean it. I'm personally not a believer in fake it till you make it. I'm just a believer in keep reminding yourself of what's important and why it's important, and you'll build up that power to do what you want to do. She is afraid of death and rejection. And so this here is a thing but rejection is a really big thing that many people are not trained to handle. And especially when you have been so authentic. I've been so authentic in spaces and with people and have faced this rejection of everything. My brain, my likes, my looks, my ideas, my creations. And once you face so much rejection without community and without support, you're gonna start believing that shit. And I'm really at my age now, my grown age, where I'm just now starting to realize that all the things that I love, all the things that I make, all the things that I am are worthy of love. They are worthy of validity, and I have to do that myself. Unfortunately, the conditioning to appease is a very shitty conditioning, especially for a young woman, especially for a young creative woman. And unlearning the need for acceptance, the need for acknowledgement for everything when you've been conditioned to serve is really fucking hard. So if you're doing that, applause for you. Like, that's fucking difficult. I feel like we're blessed to be in a time where so many more people are giving less of a fuck about what they do and what they say and how they look, and it's really opening up a safer space for us to all be ourselves, you know? And especially since we are in a time where one opinion is kind of the norm now, so you really can only have one collective opinion as a young people. And there's a whole bunch of dick riders out here, all right? And they're all dick riding mainstream shit, and it's like really fucking annoying that people are so afraid to be creative and to be unique. Unlearning that is a crazy ass process, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it really slowly but surely. I feel like that's going to conclude my first episode. It's been lovely really intellectualizing this shit while I'm talking about lessening the intellectualizing, but the deep diving is really important to my journey and my process, and I'm loving every step of it, you know, because to me it's the ugliness is really beautiful. The self-awareness that I've accumulated is a prize to me, and I'm really grateful for that. Blessings to everybody. Yeah, more life.